Welcome to Football Worldwide, and we are bringing you Transfer Talks. Hey guys, welcome to Football Worldwide. I am joined here by Mo. How are you, mate?
How are you, man? How's everything? How are the transfer news? How everything is crazy, right? Just 3 days and a lot of news coming in, huh?
Yeah, it has been absolutely non-stop with news from coming across the globe in regards to everything. This is episode 1 of what we will be doing on almost a daily, if not every second couple of days basis, just covering the biggest transfer news, biggest news, rumors, and medicals that are occurring. Our main source will be Fabrizio Romano because, he is the most reliable. But we will definitely discuss other potential moves and rumors. And I know, Mo, you've got a couple lined up that you want to discuss when the time does come. But we'll get straight into it. So, in the Serie A, Fabrizio Romano, we know that they've been talking of Morata moving to Barcelona. Juventus are on board with this, but as Fabrizio's reported, it is only if they can find a new striker. Now, Icardi has been linked to the club since his days at Inter Milan, and with all the dramas happening between him and his manager and all the behind the scenes news, can you see this move going ahead in the end of the season?
I can see this move happening now. That's the thing about it that Barcelona, they are desperate to have somebody coming in to try to score goals, and Morata has the experience of the Spanish La Liga. So it might happen. Now, does it depend on Mauro Icardi? Most likely it depends on Mauro Icardi. Do we see Mauro Icardi leaving PSG? 80%. If it's in his hand and Wanda's hand, yes, he would leave. But it's only about, like, it has to be the right money, right? Like PSG, they are rich enough not to leave people without good compensation. They're not a club to be bullied, PSG, to be honest with you. And this is something that Juventus, they have to fight hard to get Mauro Icardi in, if for Morata to be sent to Barcelona.
Now, I want to put it to you like this. Juventus, when Icardi was linked when he was at Inter, they were the powerhouse of Italy, and they were the club to be at when you're in the Serie A. Every player aspired to play with Juventus, to play with Ronaldo, to win that elusive title in Italy, the Scudetto. Now, a lot's changed since then, and PSG have a team that have Lionel Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, and with Neymar injured, Icardi's been getting a lot more game time. Is it beneficial for him to remain with a club where he can potentially, well, you can almost guarantee he's winning a title there this year, but he could potentially push to win that elusive Champions League?
The problem with that is it's not a long. I'm not sure. I think his contract runs in 2 years, so I don't think it's a long-term solution for Icardi. And we know that Icardi and his agent Wanda, they are just money suckers, if you want to call them. They're gold diggers, if you want to call them that. And Juventus is definitely going to offer him nothing less than 4 years contract. So they would definitely, these people, I don't think they care about the trophies as much as these people really, really care about the money. And this is why I see this is happening, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so Anth, he does leave a good point there. Where is financial fair play and all this? Well, the issue with Barcelona at the moment is they've signed Ferran Torres, but they can't actually register him because of the whole situation that's happened with the club. And this goes back to why they couldn't register Messi. So there's a lot of questions to be answered.
So
And we are only, 4 days into the transfer market. So there is so much that can happen.
regarding this, with Aguero retiring, he left a gap in the salary cap that Barca has, and it can be filled. This is why they can because I think Aguero went for 9 million, but now Ferran Torres, I think he's getting only 4.5 million. So this is why they can afford to sign Morata. The problem is they don't have the money to spend. So everything has to be a loan with an obligation to buy over 2 3 years. Is every club gonna accept that? Man City accepted that because they didn't want that wage on their books. But do
They don't need the
Juventus
money
care
straight
about the
away.
huh?
And Manchester City don't need the money.
Exactly. But Juventus will need that money, some money at least up front, to be able to pay for the Icardi fee that PSG is talking 35 to 40 million. So
Yeah, oh well, definitely, especially after the fact that they spent 70 to get the player. And Matt makes a point here. Yes, he'll score the goals, but he is that type of player to tear up the dressing room, and that is definitely the case. And for everyone who does get understands Mauro Icardi, right before he moved to PSG, he did spend a lot of money on developing a penthouse for himself and his family in Milan. So it is interesting. And Chris does bring up a point. Ferran Torres might get paid for goofing around Barcelona for the rest of the season, but not playing until the end of next season. So until the start of next season. But yeah, it will be interesting on that front there. Next transfer news we will bring up is Tuchel on Rudiger being out of contract. I can't predict the future. I don't know where his agents are talking to other clubs, but it is possible. I'm sure he knows how much we rate him. We are in communication with him, and the club is trying their very best. Now, I have watched a fair few Chelsea fixtures this season, and one consistent performer in this club has been Rudiger. Whether he's scoring goals or stopping goals, he has been phenomenal for this team this season. How much of a loss would it be to Chelsea if they were to lose Rudiger, one? And two, where would he be going, Ma?
he would be going to Real Madrid. That's number one. So here's the problem. The problem is Chelsea, the Roman Abramovich doesn't like to be bullied. He doesn't like players to bully him and ask for money. And Rudiger asked for 400K a week. It's as simple as that. And they don't want to pay that. They offered him 250. So we're going to talk about Real Madrid coming into the picture and paying him what he wants because it's a free transfer. So Real Madrid, they have a budget of about 40 million for a center back. If they can get this guy on a 10 million a year for a 4-year contract or an 8 million for a 5-year contract, they made a win because this is one of the best center backs in the world. Him, Van Dijk, I think Skriniar from Inter Milan. There is Alaba. There is a lot of players. Diaz. This guy is considered top 5. If you can sign a top 5 center back for 40 million, that's a big win. Now, why Chelsea don't want to offer him the money? Because I think Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, does not want to increase the cap of the salaries. This is one of the things that he's not only looking at how Rudiger is playing. He's Roman Abramovich looking at, if I give my center back 400K a week, what is my striker going to ask for? The guy that scores money. What is my winger is going to ask for? What is Kante going to ask for? That's the problem. He might go to Real Madrid. However, today news came in after the Lukaku news that they are actually in a really positive talks with Azpilicueta to renew his contract and Rudiger, both of them to renew their contracts. There is no agreement yet. However, they said, the reporters, that it's getting closer. That means the gap between the ask of him and what they're offering is getting narrower.
Yeah, and definitely the case. And when you talk about Real Madrid, you look at the season they had last transfer market. They lost Varane and Ramos, two very amazing defenders in that position in that club, and they don't seem to have suffered as much domestically because the rest of the league has weakened as well. So definitely Rudiger would be on their radar, but I do feel Chelsea, yeah, they might have won the Champions League last season, but they need Rudiger, and a lot more for this team to start contending for titles. Because I remember after about 10 rounds, Chelsea are on top, and everyone's talking how they're gonna push, and they're close favourites. Now they're 10 points behind, and it's a different story. So we will move on to the next one, because I'm sure we'll be covering this topic a bit more in further episodes. But official and confirmed, here we go. Nathan Patterson joins Everton from the Rangers on a permanent £12 million move plus bonuses. Contract until June 2027. So, Mo, Everton this season, they've been quite hot and cold. They're sitting in 15th on 19 points, equal points as Leeds. Now, is this the signing they needed? One, and two, losing Digne, is that gonna work in their favour?
So look at Dini. The biggest news here is not actually signing Patterson. The big news is look at Dini leaving. This guy has been one of the most creative fullbacks in the league over the last 3 years. And to lose a guy like this because of a problem in the dressing room. He did not leave because they wanted him to leave. There was a problem in the dressing room between him and Rafa Benitez, and this is why he is leaving. So the big news is here, who is coming for Lucadini? Who is actually going to sign him? There is a talk that Arsenal might sign him, maybe not. Also, there is a big talk of him going overseas, not overseas, sorry, outside the country to Inter. There's a talk to Inter. There's a talk for him to be in Juventus radar to go in the left side. And also, I think there is one more talk about him actually, I think, going to France to one of the, I think, Nice or Lille, someone, because he does not cost a lot of money, but he's a brilliant fullback.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that will be definitely coming up in the news in the coming days as well. As we move on, for Ferran Torres, we did allude to this already. Manchester City have included the right of first refusal in the agreement to Barcelona. So essentially, this means Man City will have the chance to match any future potential bids for Ferran. So they're getting paid, but it's also in their best interest to include this, because you got to remember there was a lot of positive chat around Ferran Torres when he moved to Manchester City only in July. Now, with the team City have at the moment, they are quite stacked. But is this an amazing push in Manchester City's backroom to say let's keep this guy on our radar?
Well, if you, this is how like the Barcelona and the La Liga went down after Messi and Ronaldo left. It was just going down. You're getting not even a bench player from City. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting even Raheem Sterling, who may be starting to start again. You're not getting Riyad Mahrez. You're getting someone who couldn't get a minute after about 5-6 games in the Premier League. So, to be honest with you, the City team, they know how to do business, and it looks like it's a shambolic situation in the Barcelona management, to be honest. To sign Ferran Torres, and I agree that he can go back to City, or City can refuse a sale or something. It tells you how strong City is, but it tells you how weak Barcelona are, to be honest with you.
I think Barcelona, they're trying to develop from the bottom up again. They're trying to get the youth in, and prior to his Manchester City signing, Ferran Torres was hot in regards to everyone sort of wanted to try and get them in his team. Now getting the youth in, and with the loss of Aguero, they're looking to really bolster that squad and really grow. So it would be interesting to see if he does get any game time, but two, if he does actually have an improved season with Barcelona and can get them potentially into Champions League contention again. Tim, hey, how's it going? If you haven't caught Tim's conversation starter, him and Owen, they break down, provide a top 10 list of various different football topics. So, guys, check that out on the Football Worldwide channel. And don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe to keep up to date with football news. As we move on to the next one, back to the Premier League. Maitland-Niles, Arsenal received 500k loan fee plus 500k in bonuses from Roma. The full salary and paperwork is to be finalized. Is this beneficial for Roma? I haven't really rated Maitland-Niles for about a season and a half now, in my opinion. Is Jose getting the man he wants?
No, I think Jose Mourinho is just getting somebody. He is just trying to get the cheapest option out there, which is this guy who is on the bench, doesn't see the field, and I think he's a fighter, he's quick, but is he the answer to Roma's problem with the squad and Jose complaining every day about the quality of his squad? I don't think so. But it's a very good deal for all parties involved. Like Roma, they don't have like any obligation to buy or anything. They're paying not a lot of money for this kid. He's not kid anymore. And Arsenal are getting somebody off the wage book. And so, to be honest, it's a win-win for everybody. Is he going to get any minutes in Roma? That's a question you will talk about it in the round table with Anthony, to be honest with you, when we come to it.
Yeah, look, I think he is trying to get players. He is trying to get a squad. He has been known to make comments, Mourinho, about this Roma squad where he said that he's got 11 players and that's it. He's very restricted for when he does go to the bench, and he does struggle with the other competitions as well. So they are in the Conference League, and I'm sure we will see Niles get some time, but it is probably not the best player. But again, I wouldn't say he's the worst. When you look at how Smalling did when he went to Roma, you could really underestimate some players' performances. And when they do come to the Serie A, they really do flourish. So it will be very interesting to see how he is utilized. Now, some of the biggest transfer news out of the Serie A actually comes from Napoli, with Toronto FC potentially purchasing Lorenzo Insigne. It's done with no way back, according to Fabrizio. He will be joining Toronto in July. My question to you is this too early for him to be moving to the MLS? He's going to be the second highest player ever from an Italian perspective, with El Shaarawy being the highest when he moved to China, I believe. So he will be the second highest paid Italian ever. Is this too early for him?
How old is Lorenzo Insigne? He's 30, right? Isn't he? So 30 years old, 5-year contract, 12 million a year. Oh, he's looking out for his family. He's looking out for himself. Is Napoli going to offer him a new contract that worth that much money? I don't think so. They don't have the money. But to be honest with you, I don't understand why are people complaining about him leaving. He is not the superstar anymore in the Napoli team, and it doesn't look like he will be. So to be honest with you, move on from Lorenzo Insigne. Focus on what they have, Napoli, to be honest. And he is moving to Canada, which is as one of the biggest Italian communities in North America. So it's a very good move for him, and it's a very good move to run for the MLS. So Napoli agreed to it. So why not?
So does this hamper his chances of making the Italian squad for the World Cup next year, especially when the MLS is considered not as competitive? We've seen players like Giovinco in the MLS do amazing things and just get looked over when it comes to the Italian squad. Is this cash grab, because that's what I'm going to call it, a cash grab, is this cash grab in Insigne going to hamper his potential aspirations for a World Cup berth, if Italy qualify, of course, or is he doing it at the perfect time where, it's only 6 months out from the World Cup where he'll be moving to Toronto? He can still come back, play, and then go back to the MLS.
I think you said the right thing. He is going to move in July. He's going to be already in the plans. It's very late for Mancini. If I'm assuming if Italy qualify for the World Cup, he's still going to be the coach to get somebody to replace him, because if he's in the squad, I think it's going to be very hard for Mancini to remove Insigne and get somebody else to integrate within the system. And we know it's happened with Bernardeschi, who still has not left the squad, even though he didn't play, because Mancini doesn't like to integrate new players into the squad. So I think it's a very good timing that it's in July. It's not now. So, because I think MLS actually starts, I think, in February or something like this. So to be honest with you, it's not only like a good timing for him, it is just the right time for his chances, because he would guarantee a place in the Azzurri but that's only if he plays for Napoli this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that he may be turning a couple of heads in the dressing room when it comes to this big move. And you know what? All credit to him. If he was to move to another team, you'd have a lot of the Napoli ultras very upset with him. So at the end of the day, all credit to him. He's getting the money that the Serie A clearly cannot offer him. So we will move on to that from another one. Here we go again. Another Serie A news. Onana has signed his contract to become an Inter player in July. This has been on the radar since the start of this season, and it's been speculation, and there's been a lot of articles and rumors based around it. And Onana, he did play a couple of games for Ajax, and he played extremely well. He is the supposed successor for their current captain, Handanovic. Is this a move for Onana? Is this move going to do it? Be beneficial for Onana straight off the bat? Do you see him coming in and taking Handanovic's spot straight away?
Yes, right away. Handanovic, not because we've seen Handanovic bad, but because Onana is number one. Onana is not young. He's 25 years old. Number two, because Handanovic is getting older and he's actually actively looking for another team. He actually, there's a lot of offers for him maybe at the end of the season to go end his career the last 2-3 years in a different club where he still plays in Serie A and then retire. So I think Andre Onana would not have signed for Inter if he did not know and was assured that he's going to come in to start right away. And he's brilliant for Inter, to be honest. He plays good with his feet. Shot stopping, he's one of the best in business. So,
as an Inter fan, who takes the captain's armband?
Yeah, Skriniar, of course.
I think it's between Skriniar and Brozovic, but
Brozovic is a good shout, but
that's hopefully Fabrizio brings some news on the contract front for Brozovic.
Yes, exactly. That's why I didn't want to say Brozovic, because it might not be a player.
We'll definitely be seeing more of that. And yes, we are currently streaming across Interworldwide's new channel as well. So we're doing a simultaneous stream because a lot of these news, they're not just football related, they're interrelated. So we're going to integrate as much as we can. And Tim's in the chat again. It's got to be Skriniar. I think his comments the other day he made from in a journalistic perspective. Was it Skriniar that made the comments about the jersey or D'Ambrosio? It was one of them. But
it was D'Ambrosio.
It was D'Ambrosio, but you can really see Skriniar at that part. He loves the club. He had the chance to leave.
There's one player that people forget about, but when I don't want to turn this into an Inter conversation, but if Steven De Vrij signs a new contract, he is actually the captain material. That's the thing.
I think Skriniar I don't know. It's a conversation I hope we don't have to talk about because Inter will decide for us. But let's move on to the next one. Newcastle United. Here we go. Another Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. He is joining Kieran Trippier is joining Newcastle United in their first signing from the PIF takeover. My opinion, this is a fantastic signing on behalf of Newcastle. This is the player that they do need. National player, a great. He has EPL pedigree. We've seen how he can perform in the EPL. I think this is the start of many, but his wages. Have Newcastle set themselves up for anarchy? Because they're saying his wages are the highest in the club. Are they going to start getting a lot of players turning?
So, in my opinion, Kieran Trippier is not that player that will make them stay, but I think this is a statement signing. So this is the signing that will lure in more bigger players, because if you sign an England international that played for Atletico Madrid at 31 years old and you pay 30 million for him, you're making a statement for every other player you're going to offer money to. You're going to say, you know what, come to this project. We are signing big players. We're just not talking about signing the lower table players. We are actually going to sign big players. And I think this is a statement signing, a marketing signing, more than actually the player, because they need a center back, they need a forward, and they need a midfielder, and probably they need a team. But they definitely do not need a right back that bad to pay a 31 years old 30 million
Is
signing
it?
fee.
I actually didn't think of it that way, the way you've put it. Now, they've done it 4 days into the transfer market. Do you see this being only the first of many signings this window? Because
Absolutely.
you really got to consider, if they get relegated, they're undesirable for the elite. So essentially, they need to lure people there as soon as possible. Now, if I was in Newcastle and I was managing, I wouldn't be letting Maitland Miles go to Roma. I'd be bringing him to Newcastle because he's proven Premier League form. But they've made this statement, and I like what you said. They've made this statement only 4 days into the transfer window. This is going to be the first of many.
I think so, but the problem is, are you so the problem from the club's point of view, are you gonna go to the championship with that wage bill? There's a lot of in Premier League. There is a lot of I don't know how to say that. You there's a cap. You can't just keep signing players and then go to the championship, because that ruins the market, especially for championship. In the Premier League, probably is a lot of money. You can sign a lot of players. So that's going to be their problem. Are they going to offer crazy, crazy salaries without any regard to going down? I think if they sign enough players, Watford is going to go down, but that's for the Premier League podcast. But I think, as you said, this is the first of many, many signings. Here is the problem: it has to be from outside the country, because in this January transfer window, with COVID, not a lot of Premier League clubs will give rivals players easy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've hit the nail on the head with that one there. Now, the next article we will be bringing up, it's been the talk of on the lips of everyone, reporters, pundits, fans, players, everything. Romelu Lukaku. He came out with that interview and he made a fair few comments that were not taken the right way. And he has now come out and had an apology message to the Chelsea fans. And I'll just give you a couple of quick clips from this apology message. I'm sorry for the upset caused. I know the connection. You know the connection I've had with this club since my teenage years, and I can understand if you're upset. It's up to me to restore your trust, and I'll show my commitment. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to jump on the other side of the fence here. I'm going to defend Lukaku and say his comments were taken way out of proportion. His comments were blown out of the park, and they were used to turn on Lukaku, because I do remember this one quite clearly. When Ronaldo left Manchester United and went to Real Madrid, he said, I would love to go and play for United again one day. But you didn't see that breaking the internet the way this did. And you didn't see Ronaldo getting benched. So is it fair on Lukaku that it got taken out and misconstrued the way it did? Or were the comments he made in his sort of farewell to Inter fans, because he wanted to give them something a bit more than an Instagram message, were the comments made to crossing the line?
Here is what I think. A couple of things. Number one, you only can say that if you know there is a disturbance about the coach. You only say that if you know that this coach might not be here at the end of the season. But Abramovich came out, back Tuchel, blah, blah, blah. However, I think they patched things up just until the end of the season. This Lukaku guy, if they don't win a lot, he might leave. They might sell him to Tottenham. Antonio Conte is, I know, Antonio Conte might, and they would sign a better, like Chelsea might go for Holland and sell Lukaku to Tottenham. This is just a patch up to save the club's image, because even if you put him on the bench, people are still talking about you made a bad decision by signing this person. From his side, I know you defended him. I like Lukaku, and I think this was a targeted message, and it was taken and put on a time when he came back to the side. If this was released when he was put on the bench, anybody that's on the bench is unhappy and they are entitled to say whatever. Any player. The problem is this came out after he started playing, and that was targeted. I don't know from who. I'm not sure if Sky had a hand of it. I'm sure that these guys planned this before the interview. However, Lukaku and his PR team had the questions before the interview started. So these answers, they actually were planned. It's just not this guy sat down and said, just gonna say shit. It didn't happen like this. The PR team behind this guy that gets the questions before the recording.
Yeah, look, I think it came at a time where exactly what you said, but Chris does bring a good point here. Lukaku's been insulted, berated, attacked by Chelsea fans since the start of the season. And it's been multiplying since. The club and coach won't even put him in the position to be at his best. Now, I'm gonna ignore the second part of that. The first part, Chelsea fans have ripped Lukaku apart since the start of the season because of the 115 million pounds paid for him, euros, sorry, paid for him. Now, when you're spending that much and your club's spending that much, you expect performances. But the difference is when you look at Manchester City and they spent what they spent on Grealish, he hasn't performed well, but the team has still performed well. Now, you look at Chelsea, when Lukaku was playing now top of the table, he gets injured, he gets COVID, they start dropping points. And then they drop him for what potentially would be the biggest game of their season against Liverpool. So there is definitely a lot of hard feelings from the Chelsea fans. But at the same time, there's a lot of closure for the Inter fans. And I feel there's a lot of closure for Lukaku because he didn't like the way everything went down. And Chris goes on, Lukaku realized what he lost by leaving Inter. He saw the massive differences. Inter club fans and the city loved him. Chelsea did nothing but insult the guy. He feels guilty. Lukaku's flirting with his ex-girlfriend. That's what he's doing.
I think Bruno. I think he knows that Inter would not pay his wage.
Inter came out and said that they couldn't afford to pay wages, let alone increase the wages. But it's the comments made by him when he was at the club. And I like this. Harry Kane to Lukaku. Does this trigger some domino effect? Lukaku rejoins Conte at Tottenham, Harry Kane departs and goes to City, and that's that issue sorted, or is there still a lot more to come in regards to all of this? Because there's a lot of news, but I'm sure this is probably something we'll discuss when it comes to that time. I want to throw to you now, Mo. We've got also a couple of other rumors that aren't too official, but you can see there being some traction coming from. So we've mentioned both players already. We'll go first to Haaland. They're saying he's not going to be remaining at Dortmund. Where do you see his final destination being?
Here's the problem. Holland's release clause is 65 million only at the end of the season. I mean, anybody can pay that, right? And I think he gave them an ultimatum, Dortmund, for something. So it's a massive talk in England now about actually Liverpool signing Haaland, believe it or not. They said, we saved all this money and we might sign Haaland. Because Haaland said, I want to go for a club with history. And there are only some clubs in the world with the history he's talking about. It's Man United.
Inter, Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona.
He's not going to go to Italy. This is one of the things. He said he's not going to go to Italy. Yeah, I think it's too early for his career to go to Italy now. And there's nobody has the money because the guy is asking for 15 million a season. So a year. So it's Liverpool, Man United, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. These are the 4 teams that can afford him right now. Chelsea already offered the money, and he said no. He didn't want to go to Chelsea before Lukaku. Manchester City Pep Guardiola can lure anybody into signing for his club, right? But I don't think they're actually in contention to sign Haaland, to be honest with you. So I think it's Real Madrid if they don't sign Mbappe, and Liverpool. However, I think Real Madrid might sign Mbappe and Holland together at the end of the season.
Look, I say it like this. Everyone's saying City, they'd like to see him there. I'm a City fan. I can't see him fitting in this squad.
Yes.
City played so much better without a striker. And I just don't think the dynamic works well when it comes to Haaland fitting into this squad. And the same would go to Mbappe. I saw a rumor of Bayern Munich potentially allowing Lewandowski to lead and Haaland to arrive. And we have seen history with Dortmund developing these amazing young players and Bayern Munich moving them across.
I'll feel so sad, Bruno. I'd feel so sad if that happens. I'd feel very sad.
I'd feel very sad, but it's the Bayern Munich and they know what they're doing. And for 65 million euros, it is nothing. And when you're getting Lewandowski off your books, I think they're doing something great there. But my question to you is, if that is in the works, Lewandowski, I see him going to Chelsea. I see him going to United. I see him going to Real Madrid. I see him going anywhere he wants.
I see him going to City.
City, yeah, definitely. I don't want to say City because I don't think they have the money to be splashing like that. In that sense of they need to start showing results. And
there's one more thing about him. Lewandowski he's a type of player at the end of his career that will tempt a club like Juventus, to be honest with you. If they are trying to rebuild again, Lewandowski is the kind of player you get to make a statement. And this is what they did in 2013, you remember, when they started, and 2011 when they got Pirlo, and they got Vidal from Bayern Munich later, 2 years later. This is what Juventus does. They do this. Lewandowski might be on Juventus books just because he's at the end of his career, and this club likes to get players like this and revive their careers.
I don't think his career needs reviving, to be honest. I think he's doing a very good job at it. But yeah, so that's another one. We alluded to Mbappe. Now, we've seen in the last transfer window, he wanted to leave. A lot's changed at PSG since then. Do you see Mbappe leaving Paris and joining somewhere else? Or is him to Real Madrid a done deal? Or is he staying with PSG?
Well, after Zidane left Real Madrid, I think now it's a questionable thing. Him going to, because if Zidane was there, it would have been sure that he's going to Real Madrid. But Ancelotti, maybe not. So I want to see Zidane's next club, to be honest with you. But PSG are currently they can offer him all the money he wants, but to be honest, it depends. His main reason for leaving was he wanted to go to play for Zidane in Real Madrid with the big names, but it looks like Benzema might not be there for long. And we know that Mbappe, if he's gonna go, it's gonna be a 5-6 year contract. It's not gonna be a 2-3 year. And Benzema actually is not staying for that long. So that's the thing.
So you brought a nice question, a nice topic up there, Zidane. And it has been very well known that Zidane wants the national job. He wants to coach the French team. Is his next move to coach the capital of France in PSG and then make his leap to the French national team? Because you got to think, Pochettino, he
might
hasn't
go to
done
United. He might go to United. They are
but he has
talking
not
if they
done,
can get yeah.
he's done nothing with this team. And PSG is a team not to have faith in managers for too long if they're not getting results. And they let go of Tuchel after getting them to a Champions League final. So my question is, if Zidane does move into the PSG role, is that guaranteeing Mbappe remains?
Yeah, yes, I think so. I think so. But I don't see Zidane going to PSG. Probably I see this guy more of a challenge person. Like when he went when he coached Real Madrid, it was a really big challenge. I always see Zidane as someone who likes to challenge, and I don't think a coach in PSG is a challenge at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll look definitely. But we'll see how that one goes. Look, guys, it has been 42 minutes of great chat here with Mo. Just wanted to give a quick recap as to what we do here at Football Worldwide. You'll be able to catch Mo on everything EPL after every match day, and the team on Serie A Roundtable. Myself and Jonathan, European Weekly Catch Up, Tim and Owen on the Conversation Starter, and we'll be bringing you these transfer updates every couple of days or so. We won't do it every day, only for the fact is sometimes news can get quite boring, especially being so early in the transfer window. But we will definitely keep you up to date. Mo, it was a pleasure having you here with me.
Thank you so much for the invite, and thank you all for watching. And hopefully, we'll always be the bearer of good news.
And do you think Ancelotti wins those Champions Leagues if he stays at Real Madrid? That's our last thought of the day. Do you think?
No.
No, I don't either. I don't think the team had the respect for him. But thank you guys, as always, from everyone here at Football Worldwide. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you all shortly. Ciao.